Here's to the finest crew in Starfleet.
Mr. McCoy, Mr. Scott, you heard it?
Jim. Captain James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. Captain James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise.
Welcome to Greatest Trek, This Old Enterprise, a new Star Trek podcast about the original series of Star Trek until new Star Trek episodes come back. I'm Ben Harrison.
I'm Adam Pranica. It sounds like a threat. Now that I've heard that open a couple of times, this is what we'll do if new Star Trek doesn't come back.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming. We know it's coming. We have trailers.
We've watched studios make things and then decide not to release them, so...
That is true.
I want to hold space for studio shenanigans.
Studio shenanigans, more likely than not in this modern era.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's, this is a hope for the best, prepare for the worst podcast.
Absolutely.
And, hey, it could be a lot worse. We got a lot of weird old episodes of Star Trek to cover.
I mean, just 2 episodes in to this pivot for the show. Mm-hmm. Weird as hell.
Weird as hell. We met this character in a Lower Decks episode, right? What's her name? Salt Bay?
Hey, Jack, FYI, you're hitting on a salt vampire.
Yeah, right, nice try. Salt vampires died out more than a century ago.
All right, cool, be safe.
Salt vampire!
Talking about Nancy? Nancy Crater?
Mm-hmm.
You know they're saying something by saying crater, right? As in your hopes of survival.
Yeah, it feels non-subtle.
Yeah.
You could never get a job as like a skincare model with a last name like Crater, right?
One thing about this episode, and maybe we just do this here instead of during, because I feel like we could do this on every episode. Every actor is like 30, right? These are city miles.
Yeah.
All the way around.
Aging just didn't work the same way back then.
It didn't.
Yeah, anytime anybody said anything about what age someone was supposed to be, I was like, I guess I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I felt the same way. This is an episode that centers age as a conversation many times.
Yeah, and it's like almost illegible to us. Like, Gen Alpha will watch this and be like, I don't know what the fuck is going on in this episode. It's like reading Shakespeare with a 3rd grade reading level or something, you know?
Unfortunately, we've moved past the era where it was uncomfortable to talk about a woman's age in front of her or just behind her back, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody loves that now.
Now we're just saying it about everyone at all times. We have gotten as a society more into talking about people's physical appearance.
It's true.
That's not a outcome I imagined after watching this episode. This is actually pretty tame by today's standards.
Do you have a theory about which Nancy is the one Bones remembers specifically? Because, like, there's, like, the one that he sees that's supposed to be, like, hasn't aged a day in 10 years. And then there's the other one that Kirk sees. And then there's the other one that the red shirt sees. Like, there's so many different versions of this character.
I'm glad we're talking about this now so we don't have to talk about this and, like, derail the episode during. This is great.
Yeah, we would never do that.
I want to know why the salt monster chose
Salt Bay.
their appearance for Kirk the way that they did. Why does Kirk give a shit about how they look?
I don't know. And why does, like, random extra give a shit either, you know?
Well, it seems clear
you
want
lure
to
him away for suction-y fun?
Why not make yourself the most attractive you can to every single person in the Dustbuster Club? Like, why did Kirk get excluded from this? If I'm Kirk, my feelings are a little hurt.
You know what it is? I have a theory of this.
Okay.
I mean, like, we're just getting to know Kirk as a character in this episode. If it's like, oh, let's see this new program that's airing on NBC, and it's 1962 or whatever. 66? I don't remember.
66. We can fuck around a lot on these TOS episodes, Ben, but I think the one area we cannot is getting day and date correct.
I'm just saying, this indicates to the viewer how many potential sexual fantasies Kirk has inside his head that that Salt Bae is like, I'm not going to like offer anything specific here. It's just like this dude is one of the great stickmen of the galaxy, and I'm not going to pretend I know exactly what's going to turn his crank in this moment.
I mean, once it's finally revealed what Salt Bae looks like, I'm shocked that Kirk doesn't want to fuck a face that looks like a fleshlight. Get on in there, Jim.
Yeah. Well, enough about the episode, Adam. Do you want to get into the episode?
Let's do it, Ben. Can you imagine this being the first episode of Star Trek you ever see on television? That was the reality on 8 September 1966. You turn on your TV, you wait 5 minutes for the tube to heat up, and this is your very first exposure to Star Trek. Incredible. It's for our purposes, it's going to be the second episode in the first season of TOS, and it's called The Man Trap.
NTC 1701. No bloody A, B, C, or D.
Scotty, ceasefire!
So we're at planet M113. Spock is in command, and we're told that there are lots of ruins down on the planet. And we get our first big special effect of Star Trek is Kirk, McCoy, and a rando beaming down to these ruins to do what we're told is a routine medical examination of archaeologist Robert Crater and his wife Nancy.
When you're named Crater, you only get into one sort of space science, right? Digging in them craters. Making craters of your own, even.
Yeah. He's made Crater his profession.
We should mention that we're watching the remastered version, which is like the current version of TOS. And this planet, Orange Julius planet, looks beautiful from above. I was quite shocked to find what we found once beaming down. No longer beautiful.
All stucco was applied in the same way in this era.
Yeah.
As evidenced by all of the 60s homes around any given neighborhood in LA. Everything is lumpy and bumpy.
It's really nice.
We're also told that, like, back in the day, the wife of Robert Crater had a little dalliance with Leonard McCoy, and when he scanned her with his medical tricorder, the results came back 100% that bitch.
As Kirk puts it, Nancy is that one woman in McCoy's past. Everyone has that one woman, it seems. Just as every man has their own personal The Record, so does every man have that one person in their past they can't shake loose. And Kirk seems to delight in clobbering McCoy over the prospect of seeing one of his exes.
Nervous, Dr. McCoy? Yeah, a little bit, I guess.
Is this meant to be friendly? Like, is that their relationship? They can bust each other's balls a little bit like this?
I think that's absolutely true. By meeting two characters in this way, where the ball busting has already commenced, I think the presumption is that they're closer than friends, closer than family, and he will give McCoy shit for having an ex he can't get over.
So Bob and his wife are actually living inside the ruins. Like they enter the trapezoidal door of one of these temples, and it's all set up for living in, but nobody home.
Do you feel like this was the way it was in Indiana Jones era archaeology? Like when you unearth something, isn't it just easier to live there instead of setting up your own camp? Like when folks rediscovered the pyramids, like did they just move on in and explore from the front porch?
Yeah, it's like, oh, what's that lumpy, what's under me? Oh, it's a jar full of someone's brain that got pulled out through their nose by a hook. No wonder I couldn't sleep last night.
Is that what's inside the pyramids?
Yeah.
I don't remember that being a part of the encyclopedias I read about them.
Oh, yeah, man. The ancient Egyptians famously did not believe the brain to be one of the important organs, so they got rid of it.
I mean, I guess that's how they got all the labor for building the pyramids, right? Just remove brain. Get to work.
Yeah.
That's also how we approach recording the show, if you're new to what we do here.
Yeah, it comes right out the nose, and we sit down in our chairs and heat up the microphones. So Nancy shows up. She's very happy to see Leonard McCoy when she walks in, and he is like, holy shit, you look fantastic.
It's always nice to be nervous about meeting or seeing someone and having them like come right over the top on affection. Like, this is a good feeling for a number of reasons. But it seems as though Bones primarily is excited about just how foxy she looks still.
Yeah. She looks great, but when Kirk looks at her, it's a different situation.
Bones sees a 10, Kirk sees a 6. I think is the implication here.
Right. It's like, I don't know. Like, I feel like the haircut is what's doing all of the work on this. It's like there's a little salt and pepper throughout, but it's also just like kind of choppy and not very well defined as a hairstyle.
I feel like a lot of movies and TV shows do that thing where two people are attracted to the same person in exactly the same way, and there's like a conflict there. Far more rare is the whole two friends encountering a person, and one of the friends is like, yeah, go for it, dude. Like, like, that's great for you. I'm really happy that this has potential. Don't worry about me. Not a threat.
I'm just here to support.
Yeah.
We also have Darnell, our rando crew member who's here, and we get his perspective on what she looks like too. And when he looks on her visage, she's blonde. And he starts babbling about how she looks like a babe from a pleasure planet that they went to. And everybody's like, hey, Darnell,
Darnell, you can't say that, even if you're thinking it. Don't even say anything about going to a pleasure planet.
Like, if as far as she's concerned, you just came from a Bible college, right? Like,
let's keep the air of mystery around Darnell just even a minute longer, dude. Come on.
We learned that Plum is a nickname that she has for Bones, which I feel like that's a good nickname.
I mean, the suggestion is that anatomically he's got a plum on the end of a toothpick.
I was picturing a baby's arm, but, you know, toothpick is cool too.
Nancy seems happy and helpful right from jump. She's like, hey, great to see you guys. I mean, all three of you, really. I'm loving this. But if you're looking for my husband, that guy's not around. Maybe I should go find him for you. And Darnell, who has been sent away after the whole Pleasure Planet comment, is out there, remember? And when Nancy goes out to find her hubby, she kind of come-hithers into the theme.
This dude's phaser's going to go off early. I can just tell.
Yeah. We get more of Kirk's log after the theme, and it tells us what we already know. I feel like this is a television strategy of its day. If you have the attention span wherein you have forgotten the first 3 minutes of this episode, we got you.
I found this a little bit confusing because they haven't realized yet in the episode what's going on, but in Kirk's log, he has. Yeah. So it's like a retrospective log that, like, he has become aware that Nancy Crater looks different depending on who is looking at her. And it kind of made me think about, like, I mean, you hear all the time about how TV executives now want people to be able to, like, understand what's going on in a TV show, even if they're doing other shit, and it's like dumbing down television, but this feels dumb as fuck.
Or it suggests an omniscience of the logger in a way that the show got away from eventually. And I'm going to be really curious about when exactly that happens, because the log is doing some work here in, like, filling in whatever gaps there might be in the understanding of the situation. But, like, you're right, Ben. Eventually we go from a Kirk's log that would be
more contemporaneous with the action and, like,
to being sort of a narrator of action as it happens.
Yeah. So Robert Crater shows up, and he's really fucking angry that the Federation has sent people to his ruin.
Bob Crater, Crater Technologies. Get the fuck out. I don't need a physical.
You know, in the long tradition of Star Trek featuring visits to planets where there's an old cranky scientist and his hot babe assistant and or wife. That's sort of what's going on here, although unclear which version of Salt Bae we're meant to believe is what his wife actually looked like at the time. But yeah, he mentions that he would like them to deliver some salt and then take a hike. McCoy gets into some conflict about him just being a doctor and this is just my job. The book says I must give you a physical. Crater not having it. And what follows after this argument is just two dudes talking about a third dude's wife right in front of his face. Arguing about how old or young she looks, while Robert Crater just sits there as their audience. And I am so glad the blood-curdling scream interrupted this conversation because I had no idea where it would end after it began.
I'm not joking, Jim. She hasn't aged a day. There's not a gray hair in her head.
She's got some gray, Bones. Excuse me, Professor. She's a handsome woman, yes, but hardly 25.
How much deeper do you get in this description, fellas? Are we just at the bar talking about the third guy's wife's body and face?
It is a terribly uncomfortable moment. You wonder when he's going to get out his, like, wall-exploding pistol that he's revealed to be in possession of later.
But Robert Crater doesn't seem particularly insulted by any of this in this moment, and that is one of many examples of why Robert Crater is a little weird.
Yeah. Nobody clocks this, crucially, in the scene. Like, he's just paralyzed, basically, that whatever's going on here is going to be discovered in this moment.
What is paralyzed and what is discovered is the body of dead Darnell. Nancy's standing over him.
RSVP Darnell.
Dead, Jim.
He's got polka dots all over his face and a grape in his mouth. And they're like, huh.
How does Kirk know to reach in his mouth? Why does he do that?
I mean, how does Clarice Starling know to tell the guy to stick the tongs down that guy's throat either, you know?
Is this a normal course of first response? Do you always reach into the mouth?
Yes.
You must, right?
Sometimes there's a moth in there, other times a grip.
Federation has invested a great deal of money in our training. They're about due for a small return.
Kirk wants to know what Nancy knows, obviously, because it seems like she's the witness. But the story she tells sounds pretty bullshit. So they decide, instead of believing her, to continue this medical exam tomorrow that they planned for the surface, and they're going to beam dead Darnell up to Enterprise.
And as they're going, Nancy's like, but remember the salt, bring salt. Always got to remind you.
One interesting thing about this moment in time in this episode is at 10 minutes in, we finally see the hero ship of the TV show. I mean, I guess we saw it. We saw the exterior earlier, but like we're on it now.
Yeah. We're on the bridge. Uhura and Spock are talking about a little goof she made in her logs. A very thirsty moment. It really seems like she's putting the moves on Spock, talking about how she's an illogical woman and giving him those come hither eyes.
Tell me how your planet Vulcan looks on a lazy evening when the moon is full.
It seems as though Uhura is sort of a sexual velociraptor here in the workplace, like probing the weak parts of Spock's management style, seeing if there's a way she can be in order to get greater forgiveness for some sloppiness in her reports or whatever. Here's the thing about Spock's electric fence. Impermeable.
It really is.
Vulcan has no moon, Miss Uhura.
I'm not surprised, Mr. Spock.
Fun to think about, like, the Uhura of Strange New Worlds and the Spock of Strange New Worlds having an interaction like this. Like, it's not inconceivable to me.
We can't rule out that Spock is making the sexual rounds on Strange New Worlds, and eventually there will be a Spock-Uhura situation.
He's going to get to everyone eventually, right?
Yeah.
Good, I'll be looking forward to it.
He reports to Sixbay over FaceTime about this Borgia plant, and that is the thing that has been attributed to the death of Darnell. Nancy said that she saw him eating this plant, and he keeled over immediately. And Spock is like, yeah, I mean, you're going to find that there's nothing in the literature about Borgia plant giving you polka dot face as a side effect of death.
Want to call your attention to one thing here that just made me laugh every time. Calling Sickbay the dispensary, big fun.
Yeah. I don't know what that's about. They do it a bunch of times. I've never heard that before.
It seems to make the case that Sickbay is more of a pharmacy than it is a place where medicine is practiced.
Yeah, like go get your pills is basically the mental image when you call it dispensary.
It sure seems like they had to set up a biobed later on in the episode too. One wasn't just available, like they had to roll one out and tilt it back to use it. So maybe that's the case.
I'm curious to see how much of this FaceTime technique they are going to use going forward, because it is such a big part of this episode. Like so many of the times there is intra-ship communication, it's on FaceTime, and like that's a trivially cheap special effect to do now, but it was like a fairly big deal optical process to do back in the 60s. And I mean, it looks cool, and it's like, oh man, imagine in the future we'll be able to see each other on screens when we're doing a phone call, is kind of the gee whizness of it. But I don't remember it being like a big part of the other TOS episodes that we've watched.
Yeah, me neither.
And it's definitely like not a thing in TNG. Like 100 years later, they're like, we don't need FaceTime anymore.
This is an interesting introduction to our show's doctor, because at no point in this episode does he seem good at his job or even professional at his job. You know, setting aside that there's a medical mystery here that is his job to solve and figure out, there is the whole picking a bad time to have a chicks man conversation with a superior officer. Like, Kirk is not trying to hear this. Kirk just had one of his crew people die and kind of wants that to be McCoy's main focus here. And I get it.
There's a fucking corpse here, man. And you're talking about lost love. And it is this man shouldn't be dead. There is nothing coming back in the scan that would indicate a cause. But that's not really my priority right now. I just want to talk about babes.
We whip over to Darnell's corpse, and McCoy is doing that thing where he's like moving his palm over his face to close the eyelids, but then like moving them back up. He's like, Jim, they should move back up. He shouldn't be dead is what I'm saying. Up and up, I try to move them, and yet they don't open. Also chicks, am I right?
Yeah. What the hell, man? Kirk and Uhura have a conversation about how she's getting a ration of shit from other people in Starfleet about how the entrepreneur is due somewhere to drop off a bunch of chili peppers to a Latino captain or commander or somebody, and Kirk is very proud of these chili peppers, but says that guy's going to have to wait.
Look, man, Space Commander Jose Dominguez needs those peppers. Needs them immediately.
But he won't die if he goes a few more days without them. Got it?
Got it, Captain.
Very strange little, like Chekhov's Dominguez. I was like, I cannot wait to meet this guy. And he does not materialize in this episode.
I really love a version of Star Trek where it's not always transporting medicine or vaccines or people that need to leave a dangerous place and go live somewhere else. Sometimes it's just chili peppers, man. That's all it is.
Sometimes there's a highly placed Starfleet officer that would like to echo unos salsas picantes, and we need those peppers.
Other thing I love about this scene is that Kirk has the disposable coffee cup of an aircraft carrier captain in the Navy. There's a lot of this happening on the bridge with Kirk especially, like the snacking on a plate.
He like eats and drinks a ton.
And it really conveys a military style commanding officer presence just through that choice. He's the only one that could do that.
Right. It never has any captain soup, but maybe that's like a later development in Starfleet. Spock notes that he's like gone through some of the logs of like what's gone on with this planet ever since Dr. Crater or Professor Crater and his wife went there. They've been there for 5 years, and they were They were robbing the shit out of the graves of this planet. They were shipping tons of stuff back to the Federation that they were pulling out of these ruins. And last couple of years, there has been a real drop-off in the amount of grave robbing going on.
There's a line I think about a lot, and I've said it on the show before. I think Conan O'Brien said it on one of his shows. He says, every grave eventually goes untended. And it's a great way to just frame the impermanence of all things, and even after death, like how eventually it just goes away. I bring that up to ask, like, there's a period of time where the window is open for grave robbing.
Mm-hmm.
How long a period do you think that is? Like, I'm understanding that this is hundreds of years of time that's gone by on this planet where the creators are doing their work, but, like, is there a statute of grave robbing limitations where, like, you gotta wait before getting in there?
Because, like, there's grave robbing and then there's archaeology, and is there a blurry line between the two?
When does desecration become education, you know?
Hey, it's sort of like the old adage that comedy is just tragedy plus time.
Yes.
Archaeology is just grave robbing plus time.
It absolutely is. Yeah, we just figured it out, but we just don't know how much time.
Yeah, we don't know how much time. I mean, it's probably different for different people. And maybe in a more advanced and enlightened era, there's like an age of grave robbing consent that gets established.
Yeah, just another fucking form for your surviving family members to deal with after your death. The pain in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, like, take care of this, and if you set up like a durable trust or something, put some language in there about what your grave robbing preferences would be.
This is why I'm turning myself into compost. No one's gonna fuck with that.
Bit of flesh and blood. I'm the captain, Captain James Kirk.
So in 6 Bay, it is discovered finally that no salt can be detected in Darnell's body, and this is Bones going like, "Oopsies." That was not something I would have thought to look for, but there it is.
That would explain why his eyes didn't move when I did that hand thing over his face.
We got to beam down to the planet and ask some more questions of the Crater family.
If we're just spitballing names of the 2 crew people to go with Kirk and Spock, I mean, on the list somewhere is Green and Sturgeon. How they appeared in the same scene, I'll never know.
They roll a little deeper here, but strangely, Kirk sends one of these guys out to go get Nancy when they arrive, and Bob.
That's Green.
Yeah.
That gets sent out. Sturgeon is the guy who looks like a Midwest bartender, and a great one, by the way.
Bob is like, "Hey, man, like, you get your medical exam done or whatever, but the really important thing is salt tablets. We showed up here with tons of salt. We're down to very little. I don't have much left. I need you to give me some salt."
I love that Robert stores his salt in a vase that a grandma keeps hard candies in. I mean, I'm unclear. If salt tablets were kept in a vessel like this, fuck me, right? Like, I didn't know that. I would never know that. But this just seems so decorative. Unusually, unnecessarily decorative.
The tablets look like aspirins. Like,
Yeah.
I've never seen salt shipped in that format. Maybe that's something that you do in the military.
Yeah,
it
is.
But, like, why not granulated?
Well, because if it is, much like sand, Ben, it would get all over everything.
Oh, yeah.
It's coarse and rough and irritating.
I hate that.
I mean, you're probably storing these in containers that also have MREs or other food stuff.
Because he opens up that crate and you're like, oh, he's going to like reach his hand in and hold up a palm full of the last salt tablets. No, he holds up an ornate vase full of the last salt tablets.
And gives him a little shaken for effect.
Yeah. Bones like pops one right in his mouth. And he's like, he's right, Jim. It is salt.
Salt.
Like, why were you suspicious that he didn't have salt?
Is a doctor maybe the last person you'd expect to just pop a mystery pill into their mouth? Like in a scene that kind of has a lot of suspicion kind of baked into it.
He goes, hey, that fixed my kidney. And then he like puts a couple more of those pills in his pocket. And then they come out at the end of Star Trek 4.
Wow.
And it comes full circle.
Amazing. Amazing how they called that back.
Yeah.
What is this supposed to prove was a question I had. Like, yeah, you have a couple dozen of these salt pills left? Okay.
You need more, is the proof.
Kirk's like, look, I'm ordering you to come up to Enterprise until this investigation is complete. And Spock blows in a call at this point to say that, for the third and final time, the Borgia plant, not the killer. This is not news that Robert Crater wanted to hear because that guy's run off.
Yeah, he splits. And outside, we see that the two guys that they brought down, Sturgeon and Green, are both dead. And Crater has got some of this salt, and he's like trying to lure Salt Bae away. But Salt Bae changes what she looks like to look like Crewman Green and wanders over. There's an amazing scene where Kirk is like busting Bones' chops for thinking with his glands. And at this point, Salt Bae as Green has like come into the room, and we get this like super intense close-up on them, just like watching the weird interaction between Kirk and Bones.
Yeah, if you were out anywhere and someone were in your company staring like this, it would be very conspicuous. It'd be very uncomfortable.
Even if it's somebody that you know as well as Green, you know? Like one of the homies, like Green.
Everyone knows Green. Everyone loves Green.
I mean, he's no Sturgeon, but people really like Green.
I was just going to say, like, Sturgeon, women want to be with him, men want to be him.
It's true.
Just look at that guy.
So they're like, now we don't know where Bob is, and we don't know where Nancy is. This is very confusing.
But they get the Dustbuster Club back up, absent the body they don't know about. It's Doppelgreen, Kirk, and McCoy.
Right. They know that Sturgeon has passed. RSVP Sturgeon.
He's dead.
Kirk tells Spock they need to start using the advanced scanning capabilities of the Starship Enterprise to figure out where Nancy and Bob have gone. And we get this very nice handheld shot of Kirk getting into the elevator, and it's like not accompanied by music particularly, but it just the sheer shakiness of the shot really served to sell the emotion of like the wheels are coming off the cart for Kirk here. Like shit is really out of control, and he is trying desperately to get what should have been a dead simple visit to a planet and do a medical checkup mission back on the rails.
You're right about this shot. This is primordial Michael Bay, right? Because the sequence goes, we're following Kirk into the turbo lift, and then the camera's rotating around him to shoot out the door that he just entered.
Yeah.
I mean, it's technically a difficult shot. On screen, it's a bad shot because you get the camera person's shadow in it, but it's the only way you could pull it off.
Yeah. Just with the way the cameras were back then, it's like, you know, kind of is what it is, but it really worked for me. I thought it was great. In
2 straight scenes, you see something kind of magical as a viewer. Like, you see your first transporter scene, which was right on the heels of a scene where Nancy Crater like shapeshifts into a different person. You go from that to transporter room to this wild shot inside a turbo lift. This feels like the best thing on TV.
It really does. So Green is like wandering around the ship at this point, and he sees Yeoman Rand with her tray full of food, and there's a salt shaker on that tray. And Green, gotta have that salt shaker.
I feel like that scene earlier where Kirk and McCoy were talking about Nancy and how she looked, I feel like that gives me permission to talk about Yeoman Rand and how she looks in this scene. Can we talk a little bit about her lattice pie crust hair that she's got?
Yeah.
I mean, it is fully braided and latticed in a really incredible way. I couldn't take my eyes off of it.
Is it a hat? Does she? Because like when you see someone cosplay as TOS Yeoman Rand, it's just like wig wig hair that they have coaxed into this shape and put on top of their regular hair.
I wonder if in future episodes we're going to see different pie configurations up there. The kind where there's like leaves and stuff.
Oh, sure.
In there,
yeah.
that's pretty fun.
4 and 20 blackbirds fly out of that thing at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Green follows Rand into the elevator, and she gets just like ogled by all the boys on the ship who talk about like how nice it would be to have her as their personal yeoman.
It would only be more appropriate if there were some sort of starship construction site in a corridor, and these guys like lean on their shovels and watch her pass.
I like that Star Trek was a show that was like, I think women and men can work alongside each other, and in the future, like in a structure, in a quasi-military environment like Starfleet, there will be women officers and women will be on board the ship. But then also Star Trek failed to think of, this isn't the first day that happened.
Yeah.
Like these guys talk about her like it is she is like the only woman they've seen in months.
That's true. It's extremely horny. I think the one aspect to this scene that doesn't make me fear for Rand or want to defend her in some kind of way is that like Yeoman Rand is fine. And if anything, she kind of throws it back at these dipshits. Like whatever.
Why don't you go chase an asteroid?
Hey, Janice, is that for me?
Don't you wish it was?
She's okay, and I'm not worried about her.
So she goes into a sort of like arboretum plant lab kind of place where Lieutenant Sulu is hanging out with a puppet plant. And this is just hitting me now, Adam. Is this a botany bay that they're in?
Oh, no.
God, that's so good. Why did it take us so long to do TOS episodes? They're so mathy with the comedy.
Spot, this bag does not contain platinum, silver, or gold. I must find it.
Hi, sir. I'm Captain James E. Kirk.
Kirk unit.
Stand by the fire.
So Green comes in to the botany bay and is just weirding around because he wants that fucking salt shaker.
Is Sulu in there working or taking a break? Like, this is just where he likes to have his lunch, right?
It kind of seems like it's just a lunch break for Sulu.
What is Rand doing delivering his meal for him?
Is she his yeoman?
Oh, great question.
I thought she was Kirk's yeoman because they talk about, like, how'd you like to have her as your personal yeoman?
I'm studying this plant that can turn itself into a grasped hand. Watch how with very little effort I can make it wrap itself around me.
This is the frilliest thing I've ever used to achieve orgasm.
Her name's Gertrude.
No, it's a he plant. A girl can tell.
Janice, once you leave, I will have the elbow of this plant articulate so that the hand can go lower.
Maravilloso.
They talk about what a weirdo Green has been lately, and the puppet flower starts to react badly to his presence, like a dog clocking a T-1000 skin job entering a human combat site.
Is hand plant the thing that's squawking, or is it something else? Okay. That was unclear.
Yeah, because it like draws back into the hand plant sleeve.
Yeah.
So Green gets out of there.
Much like my erect penis will withdraw into its own sleeve. That being a reference to me being uncircumcised. I get very specific with how I describe my penis.
Which you would know if you were on Space Grindr. So Green sees Uhura and turns himself into a black crew member. This is when it's kind of revealed that the way Salt Bay determines what to look like is sort of based on a telepathic signal. This guy explains to Uhura, like, yeah, I knew you were thinking about someone that looked just like me. And what do you know? I can speak Swahili, too.
This gets very intriguing to Uhura until it gets very threatening. And all it takes to turn this mood is this guy just getting closer and closer and closer to Uhura as she backs herself up against a wall.
Yeah, it sort of starts with just kind of erotic tension between them, but it seems at a certain point like she is under his thrall in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that like breaks the spell is when Sulu and Rand come out of the botany bay and like kind of bark at her like, hey, like, what are you doing over there?
Well, no botanical hand jobs for me. Back to work.
Who's your friend, Uhura?
Maybe I could introduce him to my favorite plant.
McCoy is in his room and he FaceTimes Kirk on the bridge because he is having a tough time getting down to bed. Another scene where Kirk has snacks on the bridge and is like, yeah, take one of your little magic red pills. You'll like take the edge off.
We talk all the time about how we never get smells on Star Trek and how that's such a missed opportunity for like a sense of place. But I really love how Kirk thinks to eat before going on a Dustbuster Club mission. He doesn't know when he's going to be back.
Yeah. I love this blue stuff that he's eating too.
Yeah.
Looks great.
Yeah. He goes back down to the surface with Spock, and the Swahili crewman we encountered earlier transforms into Nancy Crater once again, and they're outside of McCoy's room, and when McCoy sees her, he invites her right inside. But this version of Nancy, I thought, aged into the version that Kirk saw in the beginning, right? This isn't young 10 out of 10 Nancy. This is 6 Nancy, isn't it?
This is 6 Nancy, and yeah, like hard to know what McCoy is supposed to be making of this. Like you didn't age 10 years and then you suddenly did?
I just red-pilled myself. I'm not sure what's real or not.
You've gotten 10 years older. I've gone off the right wing deep end. Everything is upside down.
I'll get you some water.
So yeah, they're in his quarters and it becomes clear that she's creating the character of Nancy. Like this is a more accurate characterization because of the strong memories that Bones has of the Nancy he once knew. And so this telepathic ability that Salt Bae has is highly dependent on like how much the person Salt Bae is scanning knew about the person that Salt Bae is mimicking. So, which makes sense. Like that's why Green was so like weird and quiet, like didn't want to give away the game by talking too much.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Nobody really knew Green, you know?
No one was interested. I mean, that's just it.
With a sturgeon around,
yeah.
like Green is gonna fade into the background. You're not gonna really move the needle.
So Nancy is just trying to get McCoy to sleep. And I guess the way you do that in the 60s is a good amount of chin stroking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nothing could get me further from sleep than touching my face. I don't know why she thinks this is going to work.
One thing that connects all of the different likenesses of Salt Bae is that they all do this thing where they bring the knuckle of their index finger up to their mouth and as they move around, which felt like an early TV, like we're going to have some like body language thing that all of these actors do in common. Just too much face touching overall. Self face touching, other people face touching, you know?
Yeah, I don't love it. Neither does McCoy, I guess. McCoy is unable to go to sleep. Instead, he gets called to the bridge, but he doesn't answer. It's less the face touching as much as it's the red pills beginning to hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about what happens here is that once McCoy falls asleep, the shapeshifter can now become Doppel McCoy.
Yeah. The plum is on the other person.
Yeah.
Now, Kirk and Spock are back down on the planet. They want to get some answers from Crater because they've now scanned the planet and realized that Bob is down there, but now there's no evidence of where Nancy is. And what he's gone and done is armed himself and hid behind a rock. So he's hiding. Spock finds the dead body of crewman Green, and it finally is revealed to Spock and Kirk that there's a shape-shifting imposter back on the ship. And
Kirk warns them. I feel like this is one of those episodes where Kirk mostly does everything right. All of his choices are reasonable and well-timed. This is that moment. He blows up a call. He's like, guys, got some bad news. You have a shapeshifter among you. And, I mean, the bad news isn't just on Enterprise. They're taking fire from Robert Crater. And the effects in this scene, I thought, were surprisingly good. Like, blowing up one of those resin supports and having dust and particulate explode and like fall down around them. I loved how this looked.
Yeah, there's one thing where they have like a close-up of the phaser and they have to like do a freeze frame once the trigger is suppressed to animate on the ray part. But the rest of it looks fantastic. On the ship, they're beating to general quarters, and it is revealed that they hired like 10,000 extras for this episode so that they could just have people walking around in hallways looking important.
Pretty great. And they have not changed the alert klaxon in Starfleet for 100 years. Like, amazing how familiar this sound is at this moment.
Bones makes it to the bridge, but this isn't Bones. This is Doppelbones.
Yeah.
And everybody on the bridge is trying to like work the problem of we think we have a shapeshifter aboard, and also the captain and Spock are getting shot down there. And Bones lets out a thing about like the creature, and everybody's like, creature? What makes you say creature? Because like nobody said creature before. And he's like, oh, you know, just like it could be a creature, I guess. Like, I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, guys.
It's a weird kind of magic that this show does, where it's so familiar, like the person who can't read social cues, just like being there, just the being there of a person like that and how it makes other people feel.
I like to watch.
McCoy in dialogue says he wants to help, but everything about him physically just seems wrong and uncomfortable and vaguely threatening.
It's like when I walk into a room, you know?
Yeah. Like when you take off your glasses and like let down your hair and you walk down the stairs, like a very different song plays when you do that.
For what reason do you visit this world?
Come in friendship. You want human love and companionship.
Spock and Kirk are down on the planet, and you realize at a certain point, like, oh, these ruins are set up like a paintball arena. And
looks like fun.
What they're trying to do is a flanking maneuver on Crater so that they can stun him. And stun him they do. I really liked the stun react here because it's not stun to like fully put someone unconscious. It's stun as in stun. Like Crater looks like he got his bell rung. He's like, whoa, dang.
And his voice is pitched down into kind of a bassy register. I thought that was a great detail.
Yeah.
I feel strange.
Just stunned. You'll be able to think in a minute.
He talks about like carrier pigeons and buffaloes and something Salt Bay is the last of its kind. There used to be millions of them. There's one left. And it killed my beloved Nancy a couple of years ago. And, you know, I mean, it's like, yeah, like RSVP the buffalo, but also your buffalo is a fucking serial killer at this point.
You're right about that. I had a hard time connecting with why an archaeologist would feel so deeply for an alien when that alien also killed his beloved wife. Like, this guy doesn't have the biology background or is this xenobiology, future biology stuff? Like,
yeah,
this just doesn't seem to be his specialty in a way that if he were somehow in dialogue going like, this thing is thousands of years old. And as an archaeologist, like I really connect with this being such a past creature that has all of this knowledge through the millennia. Like I can't help but respect it and want it to live.
There's so much left I can learn from it kind of stuff.
There's just nothing about that in this at all. In a way that like I needed to know why he preferred her to his dead wife and forgave her murder in this way.
Right.
Have you seen this salt monster's fucking schnoz? Holy shit. I can put my whole dick and balls into that face, and it's incredible. You think Nancy could do that? Fuck no. You think Nancy would want to after 30 years of marriage? Absolutely not.
You think when you get with a Nancy that she's going to be a throat goat type based on Nancy Reagan. But this is no Nancy Reagan we're dealing with.
Nancy will take care of everything.
The other thing is that there doesn't seem to be any like leverage that the monster would have.
Yeah.
The monster needs him a lot more than he needs it, right? Because he's the only salt supply left on the planet.
Is he mind controlled in a way that we're not understanding? Like
I don't know.
In Salt Bay's thrall?
Yeah.
Hard to understand.
They have a McLaughlin group.
Issue 1.
We learn that Salt has been set out around the engineering deck to try to lure Salt Bay. And Doppel McCoy is sitting there like, what if we don't trick it and just give it some salt and be nice to Salt Bay? And I was like, yeah, like, could Salt Bay have just asked nicely and gotten some salt? Like, why all the murder? Was that necessary?
It's a really fun kind of, I say we let him go moment. That I think immediately paints McCoy suspiciously here. Especially because Crater takes McCoy's side in the strategy session. Like, that's maybe the worst thing of all.
Sulu reports from the bridge, like, no leads on Salt Bay. And Kirk starts threatening the professor with, like, legal consequences for, like, withholding information during an investigation. And he just starts talking about how much he loves Nancy.
Few women like my Nancy.
And, so maybe this is it. It needs salt and love. And, like, maybe the spark had gone out in his relationship with actual Nancy, but Salt Bay helped rekindle it by taking her place.
Salt Bay's like, I'll face fuck you into loving me. I don't know, man. Like, I think this episode wants you to believe that that's enough. That in order for it to survive, it needs love, and Robert felt like that was good enough.
Yeah.
You know, there's an episode we don't see, Ben, which is like the moment after Salt Bay kills Nancy Crater, and then there's that intermediate time when Robert is living alone, mourning his dead wife.
Mm-hmm. Going for the record.
Looking around the archaeological ruins being like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I don't know what I'm supposed to fuck. And for lack of any other options, there is Salt Bay.
So they're like, all right, well, you're not helping us catch this monster that keeps killing our crew members, so it is going to be truth serum time. And Spock is going to go down with the doctor and the professor to administer this, not realizing that the doctor is, in fact, Salt Bay. Suddenly, Kirk is called to the shipboard dispensary and is alerted that the creature was in McCoy drag and has now killed Professor Crater.
Good thing Spock has blood that Salt Bay does not like. That difference is what saved his life in this moment.
Yeah, not the right kind of blood. And Nancy has now returned to actual McCoy's quarters and woken him up. Kirk comes in with a pistol and also salt.
It's really fun angel devil stuff in his hands, right?
Yeah.
This negotiation's so fun.
He's also kind of talking to Salt Bay like it's a dog, like, come here, come get the salt.
McCoy in the scene just cannot believe what is going on. Won't believe, like through will, that Nancy has killed all these crew people.
Bones and Kirk have this like struggle with the gun, and Bones winds up with the gun. Kirk is begging Bones to shoot her. And Spock comes in and does like so many Kirk chops.
Yeah.
So many Kirk chops. And then she responds with a single bonk that knocks Spock across the room. And still Bones doesn't want to shoot.
I mean, McCoy believes a little bit more at this point because Nancy would never punch Spock.
Right.
That's just not her way.
Yeah, and if she did, it wouldn't knock him ass over tea kettle like this.
I mean, Nancy would be pretty passive-aggressive, maybe cutting behind Spock's back, maybe like coming up with ways in which they don't hang out with Spock in a group anymore. Those are Nancy things.
Nancy would make sure to get Spock's Christmas present in the mail a little too late to arrive there by the day of.
That's it exactly. That's Nancy stuff all the way. Nancy would never punch Spock.
No.
That's too direct.
Way too direct. But finally, the like scales fall from Bones' eyes. What reveals Nancy? What? I forget.
Well, it's salt monster hand tentacles around Kirk's face. Like Kirk is frozen.
Oh, right.
Utterly frozen.
Yeah.
And once Kirk's salt starts to get sucked, the scream out of Bill Shatner here. Really great.
Yeah. It really felt like he was getting hurt badly.
Yeah.
And we see what Salt Bay really looks like. But then like it turns back into Nancy for a second and he has to shoot her again. RSVP, Salt Bay.
Kirk watches this scene play out and apologizes to McCoy. Don't get that. Don't understand it at all, Kirk. That seems like a very unnecessary apology at this point for what's happened.
I mean, it feels to McCoy like he just shot his that woman.
Yeah.
You know? And he also did like learn like 30 seconds ago that she died 2 years ago.
Speaking of having the emotional bends, we cut to our finale on the bridge where Spock asks Kirk if there's something wrong. Do you think so, Spock? Did you not hear Kirk scream in the previous scene? Having a salt sucked out? No.
Everybody that comes back up to the bridge also just seems to be sort of in a daze, which I really like. It's like, holy shit, that was crazy. Is that how it's going to be every week on this show?
Yeah. Kirk being okay would never be true after enduring what he did moments ago.
Yeah. Well, they just completed the eradication of a species in the same moment that they discovered it. Adam, did you like this episode of Star Trek: The Original Series?
Captain James T. Kirk, I believe, has untapped surprise. Captain
I don't believe
T. Kirk,
in the no scenario.
Look, man, I'm just happy Space Commander Jose Dominguez is going to get those chili peppers before they spoil.
I mean, those don't last forever on the shelf.
I really like this show a lot. It's so much fun. It's so kaleidoscopic in its colors. Like, its colors just pop so incredibly. Like, one thing about new Star Trek is that it has a very consistent color palette, and that palette is mostly cool.
Mm-hmm.
And the pastels you get on this show are so vibrant and crazy. It's just a visual feast all the way through in a way I really love. And I really like going up to the headwaters of these characters, like Kirk being absolutely professional, not a horn dog, actually chastising the other horn dogs of the crew.
Yeah.
Nice to see.
Interesting.
Yeah, I enjoyed this quite a bit. I always wondered what this thing was. You see it cosplayed all the time. I know it's the salt monster. I may have seen scenes from this episode over the years, but to see the whole thing, very satisfying. I will say, terrible McCoy episode. Like, I don't know how long it's going to take to recover. McCoy, one of my favorite characters in all of Star Trek. Lordy, they started him off in a deep hole, I thought.
They really did, yeah. Admitting his mistakes and all that.
What about you?
You also get the bends just going from the pace of Strange New Worlds to the pace of this. Like, it is just such a different speed of show. And I'm just like taking my notes and I like paused the episode for something. I was like, holy shit, there's 20 minutes left of this.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've had that experience like a number of times when we've reviewed TOS episodes. But I like that pace a lot. Like it's more just being something that I'm unused to than being something that I find unpleasant. You know?
Yeah, that's well put.
And I kind of feel like you could like regrade and rescore some of these episodes and make them feel like modern TV in some ways. Like some of it is just like qualities of the presentation itself. Like, I think the script is pretty tight, and, you know, we didn't quite understand why like what was in it for Professor Robert Crater. And I feel like if you like tightened that up, made that moment a little bit stronger, you could throw this in Strange New Worlds and shoot it on a production volume and make it a modern episode.
Do you think Crater regrets his actions here?
I mean, it's the ultimate kind of regret that you take to the grave, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, maybe maybe use more than just the buddy system going to a remote planet. Like maybe just 2 people is not enough people to have on the surface of a planet together.
The reason I ask about the regret is like that seems like a real quality of modern television and new Star Trek especially. Like you would never kill off Crater on a new Star Trek show without giving him the opportunity to express something. But that Crater's just found down is a little unsatisfying, I'd say, but kind of a sign of the times then.
Want to see if there's anything satisfying in the P1 inbox?
Sure do.
Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
Got a promotional one here. Attention, all FOD comics fans everywhere. You can finally rent or own Shopping for Superman, the origin story of your friendly neighborhood comic shop, streaming on Apple TV+, Google Play, and Amazon Prime. Winner of Best Documentary at San Diego Comic-Con and LA Film Fest. Come see the documentary. Star Trek Picard's Captain Shaw gave an emphatic okay. Don't be a dipshit from Chicago. Visit shoppingforsuperman.com to order the 4K Blu-ray and learn more about the #1 comic shop doc. Shopping for Superman. Wow.
Yeah, I went and watched this trailer and it looks really good.
I'm psyched about this. Psyched to have like real documentarians in our audience. As a documentarian who crashed against the rocks of his attempt at breaking into the feature-length version of the form.
Sure, I know that feeling.
Nice vote of confidence to have a real one.
I just sold the last of my film gear today, Ben.
Oh, man.
It's all gone.
Mazel tov?
I don't know what that means in this context, but yeah, it's gone.
If you're pro-art, pro-literacy, and anti-censorship, then you're pro-comics. Support your local comic shop today to find your next favorite story. Oh, man. So the call to action isn't even about the movie, but I feel like we could do both. You know, we can walk and chew gum.
Sure, yeah. Watch the movie, go to your local comic shop, get a pull shelf, get an account going.
Get pulled off.
And actually go to the comic shop and, like, buy the stuff that gets pulled. That's a thing you gotta do.
You gotta do it.
Ben, we got another promotional priority 1 message here. Here's how that goes. Lost in the Delphic Expanse? Feeling stuck in Anybody Canyon?
Anybody!
If so, Brewer Coaching Services can help you bloom where planted. I'm Maria Brewer, and I'm speaking as Maria Brewer here. Okay, so try to imagine that. I'm Maria Brewer, former U.S. ambassador turned executive coach.
Whoa.
Like Guinan, but for your career.
Okay.
Let's set a course for what's next. Go to my website to book a free discovery session. Time to boldly go toward your best mission. So here's what you do. You visit the Brewer Coaching Services website at bit.ly/FODcoach and book a call today.
This is great. I just love the idea that the FODs are taking charge of their careers, starting to kick some fucking ass, getting that money coming in, and then they can turn around and upgrade their support level for our show based on all of the new success that they found through Maria Brewer's coaching sessions.
I'm going to say for my part, I will be happy for your success out there, FODs. No strings attached.
I'm hoping it will redound to me personally.
Yeah. Yeah. Who couldn't use a little coaching? Who couldn't use a little halftime speech for their career? Get over to bit.ly/FODcoach. Get some of that for the second half. All right? Leave it all out on the field, career-wise.
And if you'd like to get a P1, it's real easy to do. You head to MaximumFun.org/Jumbotron and book yours today. Hey, Adam.
What?
Did you find yourself an Edward Larkin?
My Edward Larkin was found in the botanical gardens. I love the person at work who finds their little spot in the office to take their lunch. I worked in several places that had their own lunchrooms or break rooms or whatever. I hated taking my breaks and lunches in those places. I'd always try to find a spot.
Always a weird smell in the lunchroom, you know?
Bad light, no windows. I always wanted to leave and go somewhere outside. And I feel like Sulu choosing the botanical garden, you could get up to all sorts of business there, clearly. But that he's taken a meal there, I think, suggests like a contemporary value of getting away from your office into a place that's very different, if only for a moment. And I like that a lot about his character right away. Like maybe the first thing you learn about Sulu is that he likes to take his lunches far, far away. So he'll be my Edward Larkin. What about you?
I think I'm going to give it to Yeoman Rand for the aforementioned flipping shit back to all of the leering construction worker type dudes that work on this ship.
Yeah.
Like she really like water off a duck backs almost everything that she gets in this episode and just really appealed to me as a character because she's like, fuck all of this. Like I'm just going to do my job. Like, and yeah, like there seems to be a mutual respect between her and Sulu.
I mean, it's mutual respect or she's covering for him. Coast is clear, Sulu. Okay.
Zip.
Take it easy. Calm down.
Adam, we end every episode of Greatest Trek with a warning bois. This is one from Apple Podcasts in the United States.
Prepare a buoy and launch it when ready.
Warning buoys.
An emergency buoy.
A warning buoy.
Had to turn the pod car around. I've listened to Greatest Trek since day one through all of Discovery, Picard, Strange New Worlds, Lower Decks, and Hot Silent Summer. Season 2, please. But Prodigy Season 1 got a skip after the premiere because, much like Ben and Adam, I couldn't figure out who the show was for. I tried watching it with my then 5-year-old thinking this was a good onboard for Trek, but what my theory presupposes is that it's not a good place to start. Child slavery? Yikes! He's now a couple years older, and I've started with him where I started, TNG. I was sad to not be a pod completist, but Disco Season 4 was running concurrently, so I still had regular Greatest Trek pod on hand. Fast forward to 2025, and I see Prodigy Season 2 is getting the Greatest Trek treatment, and inevitably, Adam and Ben once again put me on a path to watch all Trek everywhere, having never seen the entire series of DS9 Voyager or Enterprise until Greatest Gen got into them. Now I've burned through all of Prodigy. It's been fun to turn the pod car around and binge Greatest Trek episodes as I've been a listener to the Uxbridge Shimoda constellation of podcasts since 2016 and never built up enough runway for a binge. Along with so many laughs I had missed, I now know the glorious of Barnes Franks. And now I nominate myself as my own Barnes Franks because what have I been doing this whole time not listening? That's from Joel Delano. Gave us a nice 5-star review. We really appreciate that. And thanks for being a completist, Joel.
Yeah, so many FODs back in the stacks. This tale of Greatest Gen and Greatest Trek, hundreds of episodes long by now. And just so many FODs back there enjoying what we've done over the years. It's pretty great.
I think these episodes that we're recording now will become Stacks episodes. So whether you're listening day and date or are listening years in the future, we hope you'll leave a nice review in your podcast app to let people know that you like the show, because it really helps, whether or not it's contemporaneous with what we're releasing.
Make sure history doesn't forget the name Barnes Franks.
All right, well, that does it for today's episode of Greatest Trek. Keep it locked to the credits and listen to our producer Wynde's amazing, actually good radio voice, unlike ours, as she tells you about the folks who work really hard to bring this show to you and what we got coming up next week.
Thanks, Wynde.
Bye-bye.
Greatest Trek is an Uxbridge Shimoda podcast on the Maximum Fun Network. It's hosted by Ben Harrison and Adam Pranica, and it's produced and edited by Wynde Priddy. Next week, Ben and Adam will be back with a brand new review of Star Trek The Original Series. The episode is called Charlie X. A powerful teenage boy wreaks havoc aboard the Enterprise. As always, we want to thank the members who are contributing monthly to help keep this show going. Setting up a membership is easy to do at MaximumFun.org/join, and we really appreciate your support. Thanks to Adam Ragusia for composing the theme music, and thanks to Rob Adler and Bill Tilley for working on the @GreatestTrek social media accounts. You can find and follow those online. And be sure to use the hashtag #GreatestTrek when you post about the show. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week on Greatest Trek.
Maximum Fun,
a worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows supported
directly
by you.